Ladies and gentlemen, it is your friend, finally, Mike Brady from Ocean Liner Designs. I'm really sorry that I'm late, as any long-time viewers of the channel know. It's not an Ocean Liner Designs live stream. Until something goes wrong, and this morning I had a couple of things go wrong. I just could not get my microphone to work, and also the webcam looks terrible. I look washed out and just sad. Hang on, wait a minute. Let me see if I can just adjust this real quick. We'll turn off automatic. Whoa, that's too bright. We'll put it about there. That's better. Hello. A lot of you guys listening in and watching. We got 489 viewers. You're all waiting for me. I'm really sorry I'm late. I blame the fact that I've been away and I've just come back and everything's all over the place. Hello! Everyone's saying it's okay. Thanks guys. Thank goodness. Lipstick cam. I'm not wearing lipstick. Everybody says that. I just have naturally, a nice bright complexion. Hello! Hey guys, how you all doing? I'm actually not alone. I've got some very special guests, which I'm really excited to introduce you to all of them. I mentioned, I think, that on the community post where we're talking about hitting 500,000 subscribers yesterday, that the Ocean Liner Designs team was watching it happen. And we had it kind of like the live subscriber count kind of ticking up. And then someone would unsubscribe, so it would tick down. And we'd all go, oh, like a collective sigh. And then it hit 500,000. We all lost our minds. And I've got a few of the team here today to bask in the glory of 500,000 subscribers and 630 listeners. Hello. I'll introduce them all one by one. What do you think? We've got, in no particular order, just on the order that they're sitting here in Discord, we've got Mr. Jack Gibson. Hi, Jack. How are you?
Hello, everybody. It's nice to be on stream again. How are you doing, Mike, after the tech issues?
You can't tell because I look so cool, calm, and collected, but I was just screaming oaths and obscenities at my computer, the likes of which probably haven't been heard for centuries. I've been reading the Aubrey Maturin series recently, Master and Commander, and those books, and some of the swears you can pick up from that are amazing.
We're on now, so it's all good.
Yeah, no, we got it working. We've also got Mr. Liam Sharp. Liam, how you doing?
I'm doing great, Mike. It's fantastic to join you on the stream.
Good to have you here. It's been a hot minute. Us three, the last stream that we would have done together would probably be the Empress of Ireland stream last year, right?
Absolutely. Yes, absolutely.
That was so good. We've got some exciting things coming up. We'll be doing more things together yet.
For sure.
And for a first time live stream, joining us, we have Miss Sarah B, who is the writer for Ocean Liner Designs. We work together a lot on scripts together. How you doing?
Hey, how you doing, Mike? Thanks for having me.
Thanks for being here.
I know we had a rough start. We had a rough start, but here we are. I'm glad to be here for my first time. Be gentle with me, chat.
No stress.
Like, it's awesome to see everyone.
No pressure. No pressure. It's okay. You don't be stressed. It's easy. There's only 670 people who'll hear you if you mess something up.
No stress at all. No stress.
Oh, good to have you here. Yeah, this is exciting. I just kind of thought it'd be fun to have a bit of a chat because I know the people often say, like, when they comment on the videos, they say things like, "Oh, Mike, like what you make is great. What you make is great." There's no doubt I do like a ton of work, but the truth is that I wouldn't be able to do this many videos this regularly were it not for you guys. I mean, how long have we been working together now, Sarah? Just about close to a year, isn't it? Getting there.
Close to a year, yeah, just about.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Well, we learned, didn't we figure out, Jack and Liam, that our like year anniversary of working together is like this week, right?
Yes, that's right. Yes, I think it's just 4 days over, so that's pretty incredible.
Oh,
1 year and 4 days.
Nonsensical nautical rambling says, "What do you call your team?" We haven't. I don't think we've got a team name.
We don't.
Oh,
We don't have a team name. We need one for sure.
We'll take
We have to
suggestions.
come up with something.
Chat, if you want to come up with
Yeah.
suggestions on that one. I mean, there's obvious ones like the Ocean Liner Designers, but that just sounds like a bad 60s teddy boy band or something.
Yeah. But I could see how it could work, but I think we could workshop that a little bit.
We'll work on it.
Somebody says the
Yeah,
Brady
let's,
Bunch. I like that. I like that a lot.
It just
actually.
came up.
I
It just
like
came
that.
up. You guys, everyone's at the same time. The Brady Bunch. Titanic team.
Brady Bunch.
Oh.
Yep.
Unbekant says Team Lipstick. Thank you for that one.
Yes.
That's great. Jay, I think I turned super chats off but I'm just gonna watch the chat as it goes past. Someone said a warm Caribbean sea. Congratulations to you and your team on your achievement. I would love to be in the Caribbean.
Yes.
Very cold in England right now.
Yes.
It'd be very warm over there.
The Unsinkables. I like the Unsinkables actually.
The Unsinkables.
Ooh.
Ooh.
I'm a fan
That's
of that.
fun. Yes, I
That's-
love that a
Like
lot.
it.
Actually,
It sounds a little bit like
That's
a bank
fun.
heist team name,
I like that
I
though.
do like
I like that. Mm-hmm. I dig it.
So we the things we all have in common, I think, are that we occasionally each individually get obsessed with different ocean liners.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Recently, Liam's been kind of like fascinated by ships that I've been fascinated by as well, and we tend to have those in common, which is
Yeah.
cool. What is your? We'll go through the list. Let's see what you're all obsessed with at the moment. But what are you reading at the moment, or like obsessed with at the moment, Liam?
Oh, I'm obsessed with several liners at the moment. That's one of my things. It almost seems like every week that goes by, I'm obsessed with a completely different liner of a completely different background. But there's a couple liners that have really been captivating me at the moment. Some of my friends might know this, but one of the ships I have really been captivated by is the Orient liner Orchides. I have been a massive fan of the history of that vessel for such a long period of time at this point. Such a beautiful vessel, and on top of that, of course, classic, the SS Hungarian, beautiful ship.
Yeah,
Yep.
the Hungarians. I didn't really know about it until you brought it up. I mean, do you want to give the audience like a little? It's a fascinating story. Give them a little like insight into what that was about, because it's just one of those ones that's just
yes,
completely
absolutely.
forgotten.
Yeah, absolutely. The Hungarian is such a forgotten story, and it's quite surprising because you'd imagine with a story such as this one, people would catch on to it and it would be a subject of interest. The Hungarian was a very early steamship. She was one of the half sail, half steam ships from the 1850s, and she was owned by the Allen Line, which was then known as the Montreal Ocean Steamship Company. She was built by William Denny's shipbuilders in 1858, entered service 1859, and unfortunately, on her third voyage, she struck a reef, Horsehead Reef, off of Cape Sable, Nova Scotia, and went down with the loss of everybody on board. And that's not really where the story ends. You see, people actually watched this happen from ashore. So as a result, we're kind of in a unique situation with the story where we have just enough information to piece together exactly what happened, even though we don't have testimonial from the ship itself. It's such a captivating story, especially
Yeah.
because every single voyage the ship participated in, something always happened. On her maiden voyage, she ran down a barge. On her second voyage, she rescued passengers from the sinking sailing packet ship, the Jean Martin. Very interesting story.
Some ships just have really interesting careers, and then seem to just run out of luck.
Yeah, absolutely.
For those curious, someone said Hungarian's landlocked. It's not a Hungarian liner. Why was it named Hungarian? Actually, that's a good point. Was it?
The Hungarian was a Canadian ship. Canadian ship. The Allen Line is a Canadian company. Then it was known as the Montreal Ocean Steamship Company back then, later rebranded as the Allen Line. They service between Liverpool to Queenstown to, obviously, ports in Montreal, Canada.
Yeah, they because back then it's like I read the other day that the sisters Empress of Britain and Empress of Ireland, I swear at first one of them was going to be called Empress of Germany or something like that.
Oh, interesting. Wow.
Unless it was a different pair of sisters. I forget exactly which, but they changed it at the last minute. If it was the Empress of Ireland and the Empress of Britain, if I'm thinking of the right ones, then it was all for the better because the Irish migrants loved the name, and flocked to it because of because of the name. For those of you wondering about Hungarian, it's like the best way I can describe it is when Liam says like an early steamship, it looks like a sailing ship still because it's got the bowsprit style, like old clipper bow and big masts and things and a single tall funnel. So it's one of those really early sailing ships where they were just kind of still a little bit sailing ship-y.
Yeah, I guess the best way I can describe it is a sailing ship with a steam pipe on top. In fact, advertisements described her as the Steam Clipper Hungarian.
Oh, there you go, the Steam Clipper. That's a nice way of putting it. The great irony about that in some way is that do you remember when we did the first video that we all collaborated on, which was the first Evolution of Ocean Liners video?
Yes. Liner Tech, yes.
Yeah, we needed a sailing ship for the opening sequence. Remember, because I thought, it'd be great to do like a transition from sailing, and I was just going to use photographs and things. And I said, Jack, do you have a good clipper? And we couldn't find a good-looking model. And then you just said, I've got this, and you'd basically made up like it was. I swear it was basically just Hungarian with two masts and the funnel removed, right?
Yeah, what I did was I took my old Hungarian model and I just removed the steam pipe, made it a little bit longer, and added a little bit more sailing spars, and that's all I did. That is quite literally all I did.
Yeah, we needed a third mast, so you just put that in the middle, and we called it the Frankenbag because it was just it resembled no ship in real life. I'll see if we can find a picture. That was so funny. Yeah. Yeah, well, Hungarian's always got your attention. The one that surprised me was Orchides, because I've got an Orient Line. I'm doing Orient Line posted just above my head. Ran migrant services out to Australia and like first class service. But if you wanted to get out to Australia from Britain back, in the early 1900s on through to the 50s and 60s, the way to go was with either P&O or Orient Line. And then in the 60s, I think they merged to become technically Peninsular and Oriental and Orient Line. So POO, which is quite funny when you write it as an acronym.
Oh my god, oh no.
Took a second.
What's your obsession at the moment, Jack?
Well, people might think in the chat it's Titanic because 2 weeks ago we just premiered the new real-time syncing at Honor and Glory, but it's not at the moment. A day after I finished the real-time, and I think weeks before, I was so sick of the sight of Titanic. I have fell in love with the Lusitania again. I keep going back and forth. It's Titanic or Lusitania. For a few months it's Titanic, for a few months it's Lusitania, and I'm well in the Lusitania phase right now. I'm animating it every day. I wake up and I'm animating it. I go to bed and I'm watching documentaries about it. I am obsessed with the Lusitania right now.
What is it about this ship that gets people? The fact that it sank, I guess, but it's just one of those stories that keeps roping you in. It's very different to Titanic, I guess. The way that it sank.
The thing that ropes me in is just the drama around it is like fascinating. It's like no ship had ever been torpedoed going above like 12, 13 knots or something like that, and they're like, oh, the ship's so fast it's never gonna get torpedoed, and then it does, and it's one torpedo does it, and it's all these it's like Titanic, all these factors come together and they build on top of each other, and this horrible tragedy happens, and then it happens in 18 minutes instead of 2 hours and 40 minutes. It's like the wildest story Like it's so fascinating, and the ship is beautiful as well.
Oh
And
yeah.
I mean, she's one of the first. You know, she is the first British four-funneler, I believe, if I'm correct.
Yeah. If you're gonna discount Great Eastern, then
Oh, she's a five-funneler.
yeah, that was yeah. I guess that doesn't
Oh, and
count. So you know what? I hate that. That's such a well, actually moment. But someone did that to me in the comments when I said the first British full funnel ship, and I just thought.
Oh,
Well,
she's
so
fascinating.
why are you animating the Lusitania, Jack?
Oh, why am I animating the Lusitania? Gee, I do wonder why I'm animating the Lusitania every day. I do wonder. Mike, I think you might be better telling people why that is than me.
Why don't we watch a little video real quick and
Let's do that.
let the
A
video do
lovely
the
little
talking
video.
for us? All right, this is now going to be difficult for me to make sure that this works. I'm so frazzled, guys, because of my running around a little earlier. I'm so sorry that you'll have to watch me struggle with screens and things. All right, let me try getting this right for a second. I'm gonna move that over the top of me. Okay, so far, it's kind of working. Sort of. I'm just gonna like put the screen about there, midway down. They can kind of see me in the background, but it's okay. All right, we're gonna roll the tape.
Here we go.
Here we go.
Here we go.
Oceanliner Designs presents, for those of you who can't see the screen, The Sinking of the Lusitania, a cinematic event coming May 2024. Produced by Michael Brady, never heard of him. Visuals by Jack Gibson. Lead research by Liam Sharp. To be presumably co-written by Sarah. We're doing Lusitania!
I'm in there too. Yes. Yay.
We're doing
I've been
Lusitania.
animating her. This is why I'm obsessed with her. This has been in the planning for a while now, I think, and you'd finally reveal it. I'm excited. It's gonna be a good one. I think it's gonna be our biggest one, yeah, I think.
Yeah, well, we're doing, essentially we've got a thing planned like we did with Empress of Ireland. So for chat that's watching, someone said, oh lord, she's coming. Yeah. And Sierra LVX, which I think is 60, I forget what that is in Roman numerals, said the animation has stepped up. I was trying to show off my Roman numerals knowledge and completely flunked it. It's yeah, we're all really excited. For context, like we do these big cinematic event things to commemorate specific sinkings. Now obviously we did Titanic in April. For some reason April and May is like ship sinking extravaganza for so many ships, so many different vessels. And so what we've done is we've had to go back to back where we've done Titanic. The early May you had the Lusitania sinking, and then late May you had the Empress of Ireland. So essentially what we've got planned is a whole Lusitania event where we're going to talk about her career and her sinking in the same kind of depth that we've done the documentary we did on Britannic, on Titanic, obviously, and the Empress of Ireland. So the documentary, I'm aiming to be about an hour and a half long. I want it to be a big, high budget, production with your beautiful animations, Jack, and Liam's research and Sarah's writing. So you guys are like the A-team on this one. I'm just I just show up.
Stuff up ahead.
What was that?
Well, this is very, very exciting stuff up ahead. I mean, it's already been really fun, doing all this research and aiding Jank in making this animation that you guys will be watching in the future. And yeah, we got some exciting stuff up ahead with this project.
It's gonna be it's gonna be the best one we've done, I
Yeah.
think.
Yeah,
Um,
I've seen some sneak peeks. It's incredible. Like I don't
oh
think
yeah,
anyone's ready. It's great.
Yeah.
It's seriously good
It's
stuff.
I mean, it's
quite
eye-achingly
something.
beautiful as well. What you can accomplish in Unreal, Jack. I mean, it's just such a beautiful looking animation. You guys are going to lose your minds. We've got a desktop pack that we're putting together for the patrons because it is, yeah, just eye-achingly beautiful. We've got
Beautiful shit.
just comments. Bella says, "Wow, it's a legit movie then." Kinda, you know. I mean, it's a big one.
Yep, pretty much.
Yeah.
Floja says, "Biggie died on my birthday. Always a weird day." I'm sorry you have to share that with the loss of a legend. So unrelated. Edwin says, "Holy moly, goodness me, Lucitania. Thank you for awesome stuff in the pipeline. Bless your souls." Jonathan says, "Why did you put an Imperator class ocean liner if they're your least favorite?" Well, this is a good kind of opportunity to like segue a little bit. We will come back to Lusitania because there's a lot more about it. But we all worked on a video about the Imperator and her sister ships. In fact, I'll get it up while we're talking about it. That was a really fun one, but we all fell in love with the trio, right?
Yeah.
Histories.
I
Yeah.
remember animating
Yeah,
them, and
absolutely. They're amazing.
I didn't think highly of them beforehand. I was like, oh, they're just another set of ships. They're nothing special. I think in about an hour after getting the Leviathan into engine, I was like, okay, so these are the best ships ever made. They're just incredible. They are gorgeous ships.
They are
all three of
stunningly
them. They're
beautiful.
all because they're not that identical. They look the same, but like there's little nuances that are different. Imperator's got the
They
giant eagle on the front. There's so much about them. It's just
the
fascinating.
eagle. Yeah, it kind of like caught me by surprise even because I actually didn't have that much background on them when I started writing that video, and the more I learned, the more I was like, oh my God, these are magnificent, like seriously beautiful. And like by the end of it, I was like, all right, like Imperator's got to be in my top 3, I would say, somewhere in there. It's even with the eagle.
Yeah.
You know what? The eagle. Some people are like the eagle's too much, but I don't know. I'm like, there's so much character there.
Well, let's get a
The eagles
showdown in the
on
chat.
Bowser ships.
Yeah, I want to see what people think because there's so many. Celestial Caboose says, "Bird is the word." That's great.
Yes.
Don't you
Yes.
know about
And
the
all
bird?
in service of making it slightly longer than the Aquitania, which
Yeah.
is just such a baller move, honestly.
Yeah, I want to see some support. If you like the eagle, not the Eagles, not to be confused with the Eagles. If you like the eagle, I hate the Eagles, man. If you like the eagle, let me know in the chat. If you don't like the eagle, also let me know in the chat. Thank you. Yeah, it was.
Let us know in the chat how you feel about the eagle.
Yeah, I think we all became slightly obsessed. I think for me it was. I'll see if I can find a picture. I've got it playing in the background, but it was the interiors like that. You guys can't see it, but it's the the restaurant where essentially it's like the Ritz where you've got the elevated dining room.
Yes,
like a stage. It's just gorgeous. Someone said Titanic with a bird. That was Casamiko. Titanic with a bird. Me123 says, as a German, I really like Imperator. So we recently kind of became buddies with the team that are working on a really exciting experience called Project Vaterland, which is about the one of the Imperator trio, probably the most beautifully decorated on the inside. Unfortunately, the third was never completed. So like just stunning stuff. And so they've recreated, I've got a picture here of one of the main foyers. I didn't say foyer, I said foyer because we're talking about elegant things. I wanted to sound more sophisticated than I actually am.
He's waiting for tea.
And they've recreated this this space, and it's gorgeous. So I think their plan is to make it explorable to some extent. So keep an eye on that, and we'll give them a little kind of push when it comes out. It's beautiful. It's shockingly beautiful.
Beautiful ships.
Mm-hmm.
Like it just straight up looks like a hotel. It doesn't even look like a ship.
100%. The paintings,
Yeah,
just everything
seriously,
about
it's
it, just beautiful.
Like, not to rag on Olympic and Titanic, but like, how is it in the collective memory that they are remembered as the most luxurious ships ever built when there are things like, you know, Imperator was in service really not that long afterwards, like within a year.
Hmm.
What's interesting too is that that I think that entire point could be argued quite a bit because even ships beforehand, like a lot of the decoration in a lot of vessels that came before the Olympic class, those can be argued as just as beautiful, if not even more beautiful than the Olympic class, such as the Kaiser class of vessels.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean,
Mhm.
Lusitania's interiors I rate very highly. I think you guys are more Mauritania fans because you're
Oh,
I'm
I'm a Lusitania
Mauritania.
fan.
Yeah,
I'm team
I'm
Lusitania.
team Mauritania. I can't help it.
Oh,
You look at Mauritania and it's sumptuous. It's beautiful. I don't know.
I'm
I love me some
50-50.
Mauritania.
I'm
I'm
always going to be team
50-50.
Lucy.
They're both very nice. But Lusitania's
Jack, you can't
exterior,
just sit on the
much better.
fence. You
I
the other
have
day,
to. They're both brilliant.
the other day you were very like you put your foot down and you said Mauritania all the way. Lusitania is quote
You did.
boring.
You think you did. That is true.
And I've changed.
Wow.
My mind changes sometimes. Okay, Mauritania was built 15 miles from me, so I have a bias. Okay, but Lusitania, I
A
love.
new
I don't. They're both good. I can't. They're brilliant.
I swear we did that thing in Liner Tech 2, the second one, where we looked at the difference between the two dining saloons. I think for me that sums it up. I'll go and find it because it was it's like
Yes,
the Mauritania's
that is a
dining
good
saloon is like a Scottish
comparison.
castle.
Mhm.
I'll try and
That's
find
what I
it.
love about it. It's so stunning.
It is very
I
beautiful.
just love the Lusitania. I think Lusitania Saloon is that's what wins me over with Lusitania. I think just the whites and golds and the beautiful paintings on the plaster dome above and the huge chandelier in the center. It's just eye-achingly beautiful.
It's very airy. It
It's
is very
very airy.
airy and like it has that just heavenly look about it. But you look at Mauritania and I don't know, just something about the shapes that they used in the design. It has this sense of dimension. I don't know, it's so lovely. I love it.
It's really
Yeah.
different. Yeah,
Yeah.
as you guys were talking, it transitioned from Lusitania, which we've got on screen now, where it's, as Liam was saying, it's very light and airy. This is my preferred, like, this is my style. This is just chef's kiss. And I think this is a little more timeless, to be honest with you. I think the light, kind of like the white enamel and plaster and gold detailing is, to me, a little more contemporary. Not contemporary, but you know what I mean. Like, you'd expect to see it in maybe even a hotel today, whereas I feel like Mauritania is more dated and kind of... But well, that's like 2024 opinion.
So is it 3 against 1 here? Is everyone team Lucy except me? Is that what's
I'm
happening?
still 50-50. I'm staying on this fence. I'm sat on this fence fully. They're both brilliant.
All right. At least I have half of Jack with me on my side. That's
You have
good.
half
All
of
right. Thanks,
me.
Jack.
I don't know. I like Lusitania suites as well. Her suites are fantastically decorated as well.
Yeah. We've got
I'd
a lot
say
of support
Mauritania
in the
would
chat,
be
weirdly, for the Hellenic Prince. The old school Ocean Liner Designs memes are coming out in full force today,
Yes,
boys.
seriously.
Oh,
I was gonna
Hellenic
say.
Prince.
Oh boy, here we go.
Oh my goodness. Oh, Bella says they have nothing on Royal Caribbean.
oh.
God.
That did 5
some people
HP
really believe
damage
that.
to everybody on the chat.
Yeah, seriously. I took psychic damage from that one. Thank you.
Yeah, it's a funny one. I think even, yeah, I mean, if you go back, some of those liners from the 1800s. Again, it's, you know what I really enjoy about working with you guys and finding and doing these videos is that I'm an enthusiast myself. You know, I don't bill myself as like a historian or an expert or anything. I'm just an enthusiastic enthusiast. So when we sit down, like my areas of interest are from about 1900 on to about the 50s or 60s.
Mm-hmm.
You know, the 19th century, the 1800s liners, I was interested in them, but they were like a different, you know, that was like That was my great grandpa's generation.
Hmm.
No, I wasn't as big into it. And then when we did Liner Tech 1, I just became so fascinated by Oceanic and Atlantic, of course, and then New York and Paris and Umbria. They were all just gorgeous. I mean, each one was really pushing the limit on what they could accomplish. As if to prove my point, as I'm talking, Teutonics just popped up on screen. They were gorgeous back then. The city of New York and Paris, city of Paris, were just stunning ships.
Oh, beautiful.
In fact, I'm going to get them up on screen. I would have to say, for me, those two have the finest profile of any ocean liners ever built.
I think the Inman line is such a unique company from the Victorian era. Every single one of their liners had that beautiful clipper bow, really sleek hull lines. It's just every single Inman liner that has ever been built. It's incredible. In fact, the predecessors to the City of New York and the City of Rome, the predecessor ship, she was described as being the most beautiful vessel ever built.
It's just so like perfect. I love the massive deck house for the skylight as well. That's the first class dining saloon, right?
I think
My
it
stream's
is.
a bit behind.
Oh, can you guys hear me right?
Yeah. We can hear you.
Yeah. The skylight. What was that over? Was it the lounge or the dining saloon?
That big skylight was over that the dining saloon.
Yeah. Oh yeah, it's just come up on screen. We can see the dining saloon. It's so cool. Cal Harvey says you're more than an enthusiast. You're a macro influencer. a ship influencer. That's what surprised me about the channel. I mean, it's a quote unquote niche subject, but it's there's something appealing in it for everybody. I feel,
Mhm.
A little bit of a fun fact, by the way.
definitely.
A little bit of a fun fact about the Inman liners.
Hmm.
The City of New York was actually one of the first liners to ever have an inbuilt organ on a vessel.
Oh, like
The
a
dining saloon had an organ built into it.
pipe organ.
Yeah.
That's, I mean, back then
Wow.
that must have been so cutting edge, to put that at sea. Given that 30 years earlier, you just would have been like slapped into a packet steamer and said, "Good luck."
Yeah.
Oh yeah, we've got the plans up
Survive.
here. We got on the boat deck. You can see first class. I've got a drawing room, a passage around the dome, which is cool. So it would have been that like Victorian style balcony looking over the dining saloon.
Yes.
And then you've got your first class entrance. It's so well laid out and so forward thinking, I think. Which is ironic because the ship itself looks old fashioned because it's got that bowsprit, that old like clipper style bow section, which I guess they were just clinging onto as a stylistic choice. It cracks me up.
I think the Inman line kind of made that a part of their livery almost, because I mean every single Inman liner, apart from quite literally only two Inman liners, never had the clipper bow. Every single Inman liner ever built, apart from two, had the clipper bow. It was, I really do think that it was a part of their brand.
Amazing. Yeah, I guess.
I
Yeah.
do love the clipper band.
Yeah, it is beautiful. When you compare ships built by Harland and Wolff, it's interesting because they were so prolific and they photographed so many of their ships. It's interesting to me to compare the ships they would be building, because you would think then they all come from the same company, the same shipyard. They would all look kind of the same, but they absolutely do not. It's like every line had its own aesthetic, its own visual kind of language. So the White Star Line ships versus the Red Star Line ships, or ships built for, like Belgenland and all those, they look completely different. So it is like kind of like a visual language. I mean that the bowsprit was totally useless. I mean you can see it in the picture of Paris when she's on the rocks. We've just got it up here. You can see the bowsprit isn't even rigged. The bowsprit is that bit on the very bow of the ship. You can see it doesn't even have like a line running to the mast for any jib sails or anything.
Yeah, yeah, and And also, these ships also had the massive figureheads on the bow. You can see it on that image of the ship stranded on the rocks there. Just that massive, beautiful figurehead beneath the Sprint.
So cool. There, I like this
So
picture because you can see steam coming from like little ports in the hull.
Oh yes, that steam would have been coming from one of the third-class galleys, or one of the third-class stoves in the open spaces.
Yeah, they there's pictures on Titanic as well. You could actually just see some steam coming out of the hull, and people always kind of scratch their heads and say, "What's that about? Did someone leave the kettle on?"
I didn't know that was a thing. I thought it was all out the funnels. I'm even learning new stuff for this. Like, I had no idea about
Yeah,
that.
You
they-
learn
they-
something new every day.
There were galley ports. I swear I've seen steam coming out of right along the waterline where they had drainage holes as well. There was like one port down there for something, maybe a crew galley or something.
Ooh,
I'm not sure.
I had no idea about that. I need to animate some of that now. That's
Yeah,
interesting.
they had stuff coming out of them all the time, including to people's disappointment. Oh my goodness, it's me on screen twice. That's horrifying. I'm so sorry you were all just subjected to that.
I'm scared.
Two friends.
Mike Brady jump scare. Yeah, they to people's disappointment, they learned that on Titanic and Olympic and ships of that era, there was just a steady stream of human waste going over the side.
Oh, lovely.
There were no sewage tanks back then, folks. But there was a nice big ocean just out there.
Womp womp.
Turbo McAwesome says, I want a bowsprit on my car.
Oh, interesting.
I'd
I
love to
like
see
it.
that.
Extreme car
Oh.
mods. I see you. I respect it. Do you, man?
There's
It's the
a
Indian
there's a team recreating Titanic's whistles right now out of bronze, and they're fitting through the biggest steam tractor in England.
Oh. I love how they put it on a tractor. I love that.
Can you imagine being the cow in that
Oh,
field
thanks,
that
that's
gets in the
cool.
way?
Oh, that poor cow. He's not gonna have ears anymore.
They
Does not know how lucky he is to be experiencing history.
yeah.
That is true.
You
don't
know,
do
the
that
question
now.
I've got though, I'd be very curious if I can get enough steam pressure off of a single tractor for a whistle that big.
That's
Yeah,
true.
that is interesting.
I don't know if we've got enough steam, like specific steam expertise between us to really comment, but I know that Rainhill, who's a patron on the channel and he runs some of the moderating activities on the server for Discord, is like a steam fanatic. So Rainhill, if you can hear this and you're in the chat, let us know if you think, or if anyone else has a steam background, if you put Titanic's whistles, which are like 4 feet tall, the biggest one I think, there's 3 of them, on a steam tractor, do you think they'd be able to generate enough steam pressure to actually get a reasonable tone? Because when you actually see these things in action back in the day, they would have to work the steam up through it and like blast it. And I'm just curious to see if they think they'd be able to get enough steam to actually make them work. Because if so, I want one for my car.
Oh god.
Yeah, absolutely.
Unbekannt, unbenannt, which I just like saying the
that's
name.
so much better than a car horn.
Oh yeah, Unbekannt wants an eagle on their car.
That was valid.
Yes,
Wow.
absolutely. Yes, it's a hood ornament, man. Imperator had a hood ornament. That's just
Yeah.
what it is.
Wouldn't it be like almost as long as the car if you took Imperators and put it on the front of your like Camaro and it's as long as the Camaro?
Don't worry about it. It's just extreme car mods. We're having fun. I accept it. I have a Mini Cooper. I'm putting the Eagle on my Mini Cooper. I will be taking no notes.
Of course you
Thank
have a
you.
Mini Cooper.
Oh.
I don't know why that makes so much sense. It cracks me up.
Why does everyone say that? It's so true though.
Actually,
What
here's
you
one for
mean?
you. Do you want to give everyone your villain origin story, Sarah, and let them know how you got into ships and things?
Okay, how far back are we going though? Are we going back to like when I started the channel or like the very beginning?
Our story begins in April of 1910.
Yeah, when it started the day I was born. Well, listen, I was, a millennial child in the 90s when Titanic came out. Okay,
Yeah.
It was 1997. I was 7 years old. My parents took me to see Titanic I think like 7 or 8 times in the theater. And I was just about that right perfect age for it to become an obsession, right?
Yeah.
I was doing like all of my school reports, any way that I could weasel Titanic into it. I was all over it for my whole life, basically. But what I didn't realize up until somewhat recently, the last couple years or so, is that there's a whole community of this, right? So I after, I think it was like fall of 2022 when I found Ocean Liner Designs, and I was like, oh, this content seems relevant to my interests. That's when I started delving really, really, really deep beyond, Titanic, beyond all of this, because I found that, oh my God, there's a community. There's so much more. And I just became obsessed.
Mm.
I kind of, it became a matter of me getting, whatever I could get my grubby little hands on shipwise. I was all about it. And it's been there since I was 7 and it hasn't gone away and it's still here today. And now people look at me and they're like, oh, what do you do for a hobby? And I say ships. And they go, oh.
Huh. Neat.
Oh, yeah, exactly. So it's one of those things where it's just like, if you get it, you get it. And I think all of you fine folks today in the chat definitely gets it. And that's why I'm here. It's the community that brought me in here and kind of taught me, no, lean into this, do this, follow this. And now here I am.
Oh,
So yeah.
so good. It is. I mean, it's captivating. I was the same. I feel like probably we were all the same. I think we all got the. What about you guys, Liam and Jack? You guys were Titanic babies, weren't you?
Oh yes, absolutely.
Yeah. Yeah.
It was
It's-
also the movie that got me obsessed.
Yeah. It's funny though how it. Like, I don't know about you guys, but my relationship with Titanic kind of changes and evolves. I keep trying to watch these pictures of ships while you were talking, Sarah. Like, my face popped up on screen again, and I jumped because I just wasn't expecting it. It's terrifying. Mike jump scare too. Yeah, I don't know about you guys, but as you know, you find like other ships that you get interested in because you fall interested in Titanic, and it's like I've always said, it's like the sugar for the medicine that is maritime history, and then you go down this rabbit hole.
Yes,
but people
absolutely.
tend to, I find some people tend to swing the pendulum in the opposite direction and say, oh, well, Olympic and Titanic are overplayed and they're dumb and boring and it's overstated because Imperator or Lusitania and so on and so forth. But I don't think they're not mutually exclusive. Like, you can still appreciate the story of Olympic and Titanic and Britannic without then ignoring, your Imperators, your Lusitanias and Mauritanias and all the other ships. I feel like, you got to still pay homage to the, what got you into it in the first place. Because I guarantee you 9 times out of 10, people saying, ugh, Olympic and Titanic are so overplayed, got very interested in ships sometime around 1997 or just after. For some reason, coincidentally.
It's kind of true. It's kind of true because, as we mentioned, all these other liners that we're talking about. I mean, look at Normandy, right?
Ugh,
Literally,
yeah.
no, stop what you're doing and go look at Normandy. Why are you listening to me talk? Go look at Normandy.
Okay,
But it's
no,
like
I can
so
follow
much.
instructions.
It's really legitimately. Thank you.
We have
It's so much more.
so
She's so
little
much more
Normandy content.
luxurious and just. And also, shout out to Grand Voyage lead dev Matt Hughes for kind of opening my eyes as well to Normandy.
Oh,
Because
yeah.
it's like if you compare that to Titanic, and you kind of put the two side by side, it's like there is no competition.
Yeah.
Okay, I know Normandy was later, but if we get stuck on Titanic, but at the same time, Titanic has the stories that really bring the human interest in and make us so compelled because we relate to one passenger or another passenger, and these stories of survival grip us in a way that kind of makes us sympathetic to the people, and then you become entranced with the ship. So I think that's kind of the difference, is the drama there. And obviously there are more luxurious ships, but
Yeah.
maybe none as that are as compelling of a story, maybe.
Yeah. Yeah, you've got the human element. There's just so much to it. While you were talking, I got up Matt, who's our developer for Grand Voyage, because this team also works on Grand Voyage, the game that we're developing. They're 2 different projects, but we have crossover between the channel and the game. Grand Voyage being essentially Ocean Liner Designs, the video game, is kind of how I like to describe it. We came across Matt because he was working on this Unreal Engine experience of Normandy, and he was getting models from the interiors from a really talented modeler who was making these up in SketchUp, I think, and Matt was able to assemble them into a cohesive kind of flowing experience, and then came on board with Grand Voyage, and it hasn't touched Normandy since. So I'm so sorry for accidentally torpedoing this project, but this was kind of like the prototype for Grand Voyage, and he's taken a lot of what he's done with Normandy and put it into Grand Voyage. So this is kind of how we got started out. But yeah, when you look at spaces like this, where the ceiling is like 3 stories tall, it's like...
Seriously, it's incredible. And if I'm not mistaken, you can still see a little piece of Normandy. Isn't the statue La Normandie from the dining saloon actually in the dining saloon on one of the celebrity cruise ships, if I'm not mistaken?
Ah, that's a good...
I feel like I read that
the
other day.
That's a good did you know.
Yeah, I think they actually preserved the statue from Normandy on I'm trying to remember which celebrity cruise ship it is. And if anyone in chat remembers, go ahead and let me know because I'm blanking. But yeah, a little bit of Normandy still around to this day.
Oh, you just reminded me of a thing.
And I love me an Art Deco queen.
Yeah. Can I share a story about like things you didn't expect to see on ships? This was so fun. I went on P&O's Aurora 2 weeks ago for a holiday, and it's a gorgeous ship, and it's like a miniature Queen Mary too. It's more like an ocean liner, and it's kind of appointments than a cruise ship. It's not very plasticky. It's all like polished wood and things like that. Gorgeous. And behind the bar, they had a huge model of Strathnaver, which was the ship that carried my dad to Australia and my family. And it was it was a half model, about 5 feet long or 6 feet long. It's huge, and it's lit up, so it's got all the portholes light up and all the lights and things. And it was just like eye-achingly beautiful in the Crow's Nest bar up on the top deck. And I spent many a night just gazing at it. Enviously. And nobody noticed when I put it in my suitcase when I left for the day.
Yeah, no, just a quick little slip in there. No one's gonna notice.
Jack, the other thing you're known for in the team, aside from absolutely cracking ship animations, and by the way, sorry, before I move on, we have to congratulate you for a spectacular month of content for Titanic Honor and Glory and Ocean Liner Designs, because you have been cooking.
Yes, absolutely.
Wow.
Thank you.
Tell us a bit about...
Yeah. It's been a long few months, but it's been so fun making this stuff. It's incredible.
Tell us about the real-time syncing, because you did Titanic Honor and Glory's real-time syncing this year, and what kind of work goes into it? Like, when you're actually making this real-time syncing, what are you doing?
It's a long process. There's so much more to it than just animating it, because there's all the research you've got to do, and especially with Titanic, because she sank so slowly that there's so many survivor testimonies as well, we know pretty well how she sank. So you've got to do all this research, there's all these lifeboat timelines, the angle of the ship, you've got to sit and animate all of this. So I did that with the THG team. We sat in calls, we looked at the angles, we looked at when the lifeboats leave. But that's just one piece of it, because you've got to get the visuals down, you've got to make the visuals look stunning. Because when I was animating it, it was just like it was just a basic nighttime scene with nothing, and it looked horrible. So you spend a lot of time getting the visuals right, and I think we only finalized the visuals in February. And so you get them down, and then the biggest bit, of course you render it as well, you render it out, but the biggest bit that no one talks about is the edit. The edit is insane. I began editing this in, I want to say the middle of February. I began editing this, and I finished editing it on April the 12th.
I didn't know it was that close.
Yeah, cutting it close.
Wow.
Cutting it close. I was meant to finish on the 5th, but some things went wrong with the export. You'll know that well, Mike. Premiere
Yeah.
Pro being Premiere
Yeah.
Pro. So I had to export it
Mm.
again, and then we watched through it, and everyone's like, "Yeah, it's really great." But there's this one scene where this just random thing happens for no reason. I go through the video, and sure enough, there's this one thing that's just very wrong. I think two songs overlapped, and it's like, oh, I've got to
Yeah, like,
re-render,
why?
and it's a 4K video that's 3 hours long. It's like
Is it
it's
4
like
hours?
trying to render Avengers Endgame on your computer. It's
Mm.
insane. So I had to sit for another 15 hours rendering it. Rendered it again. The team were like, "Yeah, it's great. It's really good." But there's this issue, and I'm like, "Oh no!" So then there
Yeah.
was another one, and then finally I get the 12th, and I'm like, "Right, this is it. This is the final one." I render it out. It's all brilliant. We all watch it. It's all good. We have it ready to play in Orlando on the live stream. And then I'm going through the video again, and then I'm like, "Oh, a rocket explosion goes off for no reason at some point." And no one seems to have clocked on that happens
Oh
yet.
yeah,
So
where there's just a big explosion noise.
Mm.
there's just a big explosion noise, but no one's come to me and said, "Why has this happened?" So I think it's okay. I think it's okay. That's just the
Nobody would have
boilers
known if
exploding.
you just not said anything.
Yeah.
Now watch them all going.
Oh, everyone's gonna dislike it. I'm cancelled forever. Oh no, it's a long process, and I'll not go into it. I went into it on this live stream with TG. I won't go into a big rant, I promise. Although I'm doing that right now. But the biggest thing you get with real-time syncings is the emotion. That's the thing I didn't expect going into them, but they're very emotional to make as well, because you start figuring out and realizing how it would have actually been. Like you get a fraction of the sense of what it would have been like that night. Um, because there was a few nights where I was animating and I was like, this is just too much. I can't do this right now, and I just have to stop for a few hours, or even I think I took a few day breaks. I didn't tell people about it, but I took a few day breaks from it because it is very emotional doing this stuff. And I think we can all relate to that when we've done videos, we've read
Absolutely.
scripts, and it hits you.
Mhm.
It's like this happened. This is a real thing.
Yep.
And it's
100%.
why I like making them, because you can watch the movie, you can watch documentaries, you can look at beautiful paintings and renderings. Granted, this is a rendering, but when it's all together a big 3 hour syncing animation, you get a small glimpse into what it would have been like that night, and it's just the best thing I think to commemorate these ships by is these animations.
Mm. It is emotionally draining, I think. That the Titanic week,
Mhm.
I love doing
It
it.
is.
But yeah, making those videos, people say often like, "Oh, your channel is it's always just doom and gloom," which is not true because we do fun videos every now and then. But when you talk about disasters and things, I'm going to struggle going
Mhm.
from Titanic to Lusitania within the span of about 2 or 3 weeks because it's just so. Even when, like you say, the edit, and you're telling some pretty tragic stuff, and yeah, you do. You sometimes need to kind of step away and reset because otherwise you're just dwelling on tragedy for months at a time.
Yeah,
It's true. It's true. Mm-hmm.
The Empress of
Absolutely.
Ireland doco that we did. Oh, sorry, Sarah. I didn't mean to cut you off. I was just going to say the Empress of Ireland
Go ahead.
documentary
No,
that
no.
we did was just like so emotionally devastating that I think we just didn't do another disaster story for quite some time afterwards.
Yeah. That one
It's
took its
tricky.
Mm.
A lot of these times too, like you're telling, like for me, right, I'm writing, some of the scripts for these, and I find that, telling some of these stories that majority of people haven't heard for, sometimes like 100 years, and it's these god awful, tragic stories that happen to real people. It hits you like a ton of bricks. I'm doing research and I'm trying to write and depict these stories to the best of my ability to make it respectful. And in the meantime, you're almost having to like protect yourself somehow, mentally and emotionally, and keep it from getting to you. But no, there are times when I'm just like, you know what, I gotta close the laptop. I'm gonna go for a walk or pet my cat or watch a cartoon or something because it just becomes so close to home and so real. You feel it. You do.
Yeah. I think to understand this stuff and like to really feel a connection with it anyway, you need to have a real deep sense of empathy and kind of understanding of human drama and suffering. And there seems to be two kinds of people in the world, right? There's I was a former partner of mine, which is such a diplomatic way of saying things, was really scientifically minded and not, I don't think, much of like a human empath. And so we were watching Ghosts of the Abyss, which I like tear up at every time at different points. And it's this brilliant documentary, for those who don't know, about James Cameron went back to visit Titanic. It happened around about the time of 9/11, actually. And they actually had dived Titanic and came up and were told that 9/11 had happened. So it's just such a fascinating time and place. But I was watching it with my partner, and she was just like, there was one scene, for example, where there's a glass of water sitting upright on a desk or like a sideboard still. And I was like, isn't that amazing? Like, that is crazy to think that someone put that right there and left it. And she was like, yeah. What? So what? And I said, well, because it's fascinating. It's, you know, it's emotionally, it's... And she just didn't get it. She thought it was like, yeah, of course, it's a shipwreck. It's going to have things in it. And she was so pragmatic and so like... just like not at all interested in the emotional side of things. And so when I made a short about that glass that's still in the wreck, I get 50% of the comments saying, wow, that's haunting, that's like really emotionally devastating, and the other half of the comments saying, yeah, so what?
Yeah, it's strange when you start to talk about if you bring up Titanic to your average person, for instance, you're going to get half and half. You're going to get the people that's like, oh, wow, it's, such a beautiful story. And then you're going to get the other half. It's like, it's a ship. It's cool. And
Yeah.
like, there's no like, there's no attachment there. But
Yeah.
it's such a really like, and I'm not talking about just Titanic. I'm talking any of these tragedies that we talk about. It's such a fascinating microcosm of humanity. You end up seeing, this little, this little pocket of humanity and how we react to trauma. And, sometimes people are very quick to empathize with that, and other times it just doesn't resonate. And it's kind of a curious study in my mind,
Yeah, I think it's... Yeah, I mean, as you say, it's a study. I mean, it's a way you can kind of get into people's psyche and understand, because people get different things out of it as well. And also, like, I find that that's what I was saying a little bit earlier, the way like your relationship with Titanic changes. Like, feel free, anyone, to jump in. Do you guys find that as you get older and like, oh, great shot of steam coming out of the side of a ship? Sorry, I just got super distracted. I'll pause that. We were just talking about this. As you guys get older and you go through different stages of your life, do you not find different parts of the Titanic story more interesting than others?
Yeah,
Oh, yeah.
because I think I know that as I got older, I slowly began to appreciate more and more of the story, the little things of the story, the human side of the story, more of the technical side of the ship. Like, as I got older and progressed with these ships and kept looking into them, I feel like I just appreciated more of it. I remember, actually, when I was a lot younger, almost 10 years ago, I went to the Pigeon Forge Titanic Museum, and I was obsessed with the Titanic back then. And I absolutely loved it. I loved it. But I don't think anything really stuck with me, because back then I looked at things like, oh, this is very neat. This came from the Titanic, and I just didn't really soak it all in. And this past summer, when I went to the Titanic Museum in Branson, it was such a powerful experience that I was really able to just soak everything in and really just truly appreciate all of that history. So I really do think that as I got older, I truly just significantly appreciated so much more of the stories.
It's incredible how it changes, because as I mentioned, I've loved Titanic since I was very little, but it was actually the moment that got me. I actually visited the exhibition in Vegas, and I like to tell the story because it's wild. I did absolutely zero looking into the exhibit before I went. I just knew that it was there. I knew it was in the Luxor. That's it. I did not want to spoil it for myself. I did not know that the big piece was there when I went in.
Yeah.
So
Wow.
imagine my shock. Like, literally, like, I knew that there was a big, I didn't know where it was. I didn't know that, because I knew it had been moved a couple times. Imagine my shock when I walk into this room and I see the big piece and I'm going, oh, cool. They did like a replica. That's not a replica. Oh my God. And it was just this powerful moment of just reconnection to this thing that I had loved since I was 7 years old. And I came home from Vegas, and that's actually when I found the channel, was when this rekindling happened. It happened after I saw the big piece
Mm.
of just like it just reignited the whole story, especially the human element. When I saw the big piece in front of me was when the human element hit me,
Mm.
because I thought it was real. The shattered portholes and the rivets, and they're just sitting in front of me, and I realized people like experienced this. This happened, and it just
Just so powerful.
it shifted everything, and really kind of brought me right back to when I was 7 years old.
Mm.
And yeah, that struck a chord with me for sure. So yeah, it definitely changes as you get older, and ebbs and flows.
I mean, the irony of that being that you've just got a giant chunk of steel hull and rivets and things, but
Yeah.
that is the conduit by which
Yeah.
you connect to people's stories. That perfectly sums up the
Absolutely,
Titanic
because
story.
it's real.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's real. It's in front of you. You're seeing it in cold, hard steel right in front of you. And I could reach out and I could touch it. And it was just like this moment of just like this light bulb going off of, oh my God, I have to chase this, for the rest of my life, basically. So,
Yeah.
yeah.
When I was on the Aurora like a week or two ago, it was leaving from Southampton, so I went to the Sea City Museum in Southampton. If anyone is ever near Southampton, like definitely go to it. You can knock it over in an hour because it's quite small, but it's very, very good. And they've got a Titanic exhibit because like 3/4 of Titanic's crew came from Southampton. And they've got the things they've got just blew my mind. They've got Captain Smith's Royal Navy Reserve dress sword. They've got Frank Prentice, who was I think he was a steward, or maybe he was a Titanic crew member who'd like jumped off the stern of the ship as the ship was sinking. They've got his notes, they've got letters from the crew, they've got so-and-so's gloves. They've got Olympics painting that hung above the fireplace by Norman Wilkinson. They've just got that sitting there, the real deal.
Oh, wow.
They've got an Antonio Jacobson painting of the city of New York, which is just beautiful. And they've got the most impressive thing, the actual carving of the grand staircase clock from Olympic, which is, of course, we don't have any photographs of Titanic's grand staircase, so we can only assume it looked like Olympics. And they've got the real thing. And they've, the famous scene in the film Titanic, Meet Me by the Clock, that whole thing. They've got that exact panel, and it's massive. I didn't expect it to be so big. I'm 6'4". I think everyone knows I'm real tall. 6'4", and this thing towered over me. I had no idea it was that big. It was so detailed, like it. And yeah, I think that standing next to that thing and just thinking like Bruce Ismay and Thomas Andrews and Carlisle and Peary and Captain Smith all walked past it. I can just imagine Ismay and Andrews standing there looking up at it, saying, oh, "I think it looks pretty good. What about you, Bruce?" Yes, good job, Thomas.
That'll do.
They would have. They would have stared up at it. You could almost hear Bruce Ismay congratulating Andrews on saying, "Well done to your lads on creating that. It looks fantastic." And it's real.
That's amazing.
It's a time machine. It's just beautiful.
Yeah.
Yes, we've got the Empress of Ireland documentary playing in the background. This is a 500,000 subscriber celebration, so I thought we could kind of go back and look at some of our favorite videos. The comments are saying a lot of things. Again, I've got super chats off because I've got into the habit of it since we were doing some more commemorative live streams that were a little bit more like less fun and more respectful. So we had them off so they wouldn't interrupt the flow, and then forgot to turn them on for this one. So I'm sorry, guys, but I will continue to look at your comments. Dennis says the clock paneling is painted white. Yes, and it doesn't have the clock in it, but the carving is there. It's painted white because it went to a paint factory at Holt Whistle. And they painted it because, well, the White Star Line painted it themselves in the 1920s. They painted it green, which is, it's a decision. It is a decision.
It's controversial, to say the least.
Yep. A lot of you guys are saying congrats on hitting 500,000. Oh, what was that, Liam?
Oh, I was just going to say, I think I'm one of the few people that actually love the green staircase.
You are contrarian. By nature, you're like...
You have to be doing this on purpose.
Liam's
Oh,
like
no,
the
no,
ship
no. I
hipster of
love
the
it.
group. Like if you lived anywhere in the US, if you could choose, you'd anywhere to live, you'd be living in Portland, and you'd have like
Oh my god, that's a burn.
yeah, you'd have like a moped, and you'd have ironically cool dogs, and you'd be like, I don't go to that cafe anymore because everyone goes there. I don't like Titanic's Grand Staircase. I like Olympic's green one, and everyone's like, oh, he's so edgy.
I like the pea soup grand staircase because it's cool. It's different. I like it.
Oh, it's such a beautiful shade of green, though. I love it so much. It's
It's
such a
pea
refresher.
I
Yeah,
will
Like
say,
a-
depictions of it are always really bright lime green, and then there's
yeah,
a
it was more of a mint
beautiful
color in real
render.
life.
Yeah, there's a
I've
beautiful
seen
render.
this pastel almost being thrown around it. I don't know. It doesn't belong to me.
sorry, Puddit
There's a good
TV.
render of it.
Puddit TV has left my favorite comment possibly of any live stream, saying he's playing Devil's Avocado.
I see what
I
you did
love
there.
that.
Props.
Devil's
Props to you.
Avocado. That's just
That is
Beautiful.
incredible.
beautiful. Oh my goodness, that's great. Cameron Ayers says, as a Portlander, I agree with that assessment.
Yeah.
No shade on Portland.
Ma'am, it's absolutely-
I live in like the trendiest suburb in Melbourne, and I'm not at all like a hipster. I'm like a little old fashioned, but I'm not like ironically cool or anything. And there's people around me with like someone's dog is like has got like hot pink fur that walks past all the time. Like it's really out there stuff.
Oh my god.
That's funny.
That's
The
great.
Empress of Ireland documentary was the first big commemorative video that we did. So we're all very interested in a lot of different ships, and the Empress of Ireland is one that we all are interested in. This was before Sarah's time. Sarah joined after this, but you would have
Yes, it
helped
was.
if you had been around.
Yes, I did.
And,
I would have been there. Yes.
Yeah. And it's interesting, like with ships like Lusitania and Empress of Ireland, everybody says, this is just a Titanic channel. You always make videos about Titanic. The first video on the channel was a video of the Lusitania. Both of the first animation ever published on the channel was the first video ever published in late 2020 was of the Lusitania going past. And the second video that I did where I was talking to camera was about looking around my Lusitania drawings. So all these, we've always been interested in these ships, but then getting to bring them to life in 3D has just been like the best thing ever. And we had a lot of fun making this. And I thought we'd share like a couple of funny behind the scenes moments from this departure scene, because between the three of us, Jack, Liam, and I, it's like almost like a kind of commentary, like a Hollywood DVD commentary. But the first point I would make is the little guy on the docking bridge here. Basically, Liam made all these people. Like these are remember your like real basic human models that we use as background characters?
I do, yes.
And then you made that one and put my face on it
Oh no. Uh-oh.
as like a bit of a meme. And then Jack proceeded to use it everywhere.
Everywhere.
So that's me, that's me, that's me, and that's me. And they're so like tall and lithe and skinny, and it looks exactly like me when I'm standing up. And then
Slender Man vibes.
Just don't look at them up close.
yeah,
Oh no. God.
that was real funny. And then the other thing that I thought about this scene, getting the people to wave was really quite clever, because the way you did it, right, we couldn't like actually animate all those people, obviously, so they're basically just 3D models morphing between two poses, right?
Yep, shape keys.
So simple, really clever. It's I mean, obviously the dream would be to have like animated people waving, but it's beyond just having people in these things is so difficult, because the technology isn't there to animate 1,500 people in this kind of setting. They can do it in Hollywood productions when they've got that kind of budget and time, but if we're getting one of these out every couple of months, we couldn't dream to animate people. So actually having movement, I reckon this is the first time I've actually seen movement like this in a video like this, because you had people walking. You actually had a guy walking.
Yeah.
I thought it was cool.
On the
Yeah,
promenade,
absolutely.
yeah.
Yeah.
And then The only other like behind the scenes bit I was going to say was as like a last minute thing. I knew that I wanted to cut to an engine room for the. Someone says they didn't get the devil's avocado joke. It's like you say someone's playing devil's advocate when they're like sticking up for the unpopular choice, you know. So they're advocating for the devil. If you're the devil's avocado, it means you like the green grand staircase and you're a heretic. I secretly like it as well. It's okay.
I need someone on my team.
This sequence was shot in real life. So this is me knocking around a ship engine room because I knew I wanted some engines. And you can tell it's me, and it's not anything to do with the Empress of Ireland because the maker's mark on the telegraph here says Beg and Grieg, Pty Limited, Sydney, which is there is a Sydney in Canada, but it's not that Sydney. But this was a small warship in Melbourne, my hometown. It's like 15-20 minutes away. It's called the Castlemaine. Drakinifel, who has a really great warfare history channel, just did a video about Castlemaine, so go check it out. But she's got a reciprocating steam engine because the Australian Navy at the time was like, oh, quick, we have to make some ships. What do we do? And they just said, put steam engines in it. It's quick and cheap. So we did. And they are like the Titanic and the Empress of Ireland, all those era ships' engines, but scaled right down. So they're maybe about 10 feet tall. And they turn really, really slowly with compressed air. And so I went down to Castlemaine with my mate, George Newman, who's a fan of the channel and a friend. And we shot this footage and just messed around with the telegraphs. They let us have the run of the ship. And then the engines, to show it going at full speed. You can tell they're small. Like, I tried to get creative with angles to make it look like they were bigger. But then to make it look like they were going at full speed, I shot, because these are turning at like almost 1 revolution a second. Really, really, really slow. And then I just sped the footage up like 200 times. To get that real like
solutions. Man.
Yeah.
You love to see it.
And the only other point I was going to make about this was this shot here. I don't think you guys can see it because I'm not showing my screen with you, but it's a shot. It's the one along the deck looking out at Quebec disappearing into the distance. And it was that shot where we were like, gee, wouldn't it be great if you could walk around these ships that we've made for the channel in a game or something, like a 3D space? And that basically inspired Grand Voyage. It was that one shot.
The rest, as they say, is history.
The rest is history. Yeah.
No pun intended.
It was that one shot because I realized like Lucas, who's our 3D modeler for this ship and others, had done such a good job. Like, it's so spectacularly beautiful and so detailed. And in this hour-long documentary, we only got to really show off these kind of on-deck shots maybe once or twice, and he'd gone too hard on the model. Like, he'd made it too detailed basically, and we realized, it's disappointing that you won't get to like see this in greater detail. And then we basically decided, well, hell, let's make a video game out of it so you can just walk around the ships that we featured on Ocean Liner Designs. And that's kind of the Grand Voyage origin story.
So funny.
That was so much fun. It's
amazing how far it's come to.
Yeah, well, we've got an update
really
coming out in the next week or two for the video game Grand Voyage. And if you guys aren't subscribed to the Grand Voyage YouTube channel yet, what are you doing? What are you doing? You like watching the channel?
Do it.
Chances are you like video
yeah,
games.
Seriously, get over there.
It's a natural choice.
Come on. What else are you doing?
Go check it out. Yeah, we'll have that update, and there's a lot of things we've got to show off, especially as regards Laconia, the other ship that we're featuring. I'll you know what? I'm going to show off my my updates on the website. I updated the website recently, so now if you go on the Grand Voyage website, as you can see here in the background, you can learn about the ships that we're including, and we've got some nice shots of them kind of sailing along. But I feel like we've all kind of fallen in love with Laconia the last couple of weeks.
Yes, we have. Yeah. Last couple weeks, nothing. I've been in love with Laconia for a while now. She's amazing. And like, everyone's sleeping on her. Everyone knows Empress, but Laconia is just, she's amazing.
Yeah. And any eagle-eyed viewers watching this picture of Laconia who are familiar with Grand Voyage, who've been following the the development will notice that we've added a couple of little colorful things to Laconia. She's no longer a Spartan exterior model. We've got a couple of fun little things going on at the stern here. Yes, she's a very pretty ship. Oh, and probably the thing I'm also really excited about is we've got a stunning series of renders of R101 from Tino, our modeler who's working on the airship.
R101 is
Oh,
fucking
yeah.
incredible. I
So
love
good.
that's just so unique, I think, to have an airship represented in a project like this. There's not enough love given to airships. And what Tino's doing, he's just out here doing God's work. I love it. It's beautiful.
Yeah, it's beautiful.
Incredible.
It's going to be so unique just walking around that thing, and he's because the airship's interior is fairly limited in size in comparison to an ocean liner. We're actually essentially recreating almost all of it. I mean, we're aiming to get all of the interior of R101 done essentially, because it's when you look at a profile of the airship, this is all not unlike me, just full of hot air. Hydrogen. Full of hydrogen. And then this is your crew and passenger compartment. So those two big, they look like vents, but they're not. Those are actually big windows, like a viewing gallery. And because it's at the bottom of the airship, it's like curving right underneath. There's a 2-story compartment that is essentially your passenger space and your crew space. So crew on the bottom, closer to the control car, which is here from where they'd steer the airship. And then the second story is your passenger compartment. And those windows like a giant viewing gallery where you could stare down at the world as it disappeared beneath you. And I'm so excited to do that in game.
Oh wow, yeah.
Flying
That's
over
gonna
things.
be wild.
Oh, gorgeous.
Yeah.
Yeah, super excited. So anyway, we'll have a lot more updates and things in the next couple of weeks. Oh, we've got James Pinker in the chat. He says he can't wait to explore.
I was about to say I saw him down there trolling.
Where
Hi,
did he come
James.
from?
Hi, bestie James.
Should have invited him on the stream.
Hello.
He says he can't wait to explore the Norwegian Gateway in Grand Voyage. Yeah, that's Norwegian Gateway is really at the top of our list.
It's definitely for sure one of the DLC ships that we are 100% working on.
Oh, it's Getaway, not Gateway.
Totally.
Oh my goodness. I'm wearing my contact lenses, but I've gone cross-eyed. Sorry. Norwegian Getaway. Norwegian Gateway. That's hilarious. I just gave Norwegian Cruise Lines a free name tip. If they take it, I expect a 15% commission on her ongoing fees. We've got an email saying, a comment saying, this is my third time saying this. Sorry, it's hard to keep track of comments. Don't know if you see it, but I sent you an email under the name of Amy about a ship named Segwon. She is Canadian. She has an amazing history. Yeah, we're familiar with that one. That's the single funnel steamer that's up in Canada. Yeah, let's have a look. I know the one. She's gorgeous looking. It's so cute. Yeah, she's beautiful. Paddle wheeler originally by the looks of it. Oh no, maybe it's a different ship. I'll have to go and check. I'll go back and look for your email, Amy. Sorry about that. But yeah, gorgeous little boat. There's some really nice ones around Canada and New Zealand as well. New Zealand's got an absolutely gorgeous preserved steamship, although the names escape me. Can anyone help me? What's the name of the preserved steamship in New Zealand? Liam?
Come on, Liam. This is you. This is all you.
Yeah, I don't know about
Come
this
on.
one. Sorry, guys.
Yeah, I've forgotten it. It's
I
I know
don't
gorgeous.
know.
there's some German
Aquafina.
ones as well.
Yeah, we'll wait for chat. Chat knows about it. Chat's the hive mind. They'll come back to us. Preserved
Yeah,
steamship,
there's a lot of
New Zealand, built in 1912 or 1911, runs a regular ferry service across a river. Is great.
I love those little steamers. I actually have this weird obsession. I'm from Buffalo, New York, and we're right on Lake Erie. And the Great Lakes steamers are absolutely fascinating to me. Just the little, not the big, huge liners, although, you all know I love my liners, but some of these smaller, like ferry boats and little steamers are just absolutely, they're so charming. Love them so much. And I've been getting really into the history of those lately, actually.
They're
Amazing.
So unique.
Yeah, I mean, the one that I always talk about and that I want more attention on is C&B.
Mm,
Love the C&B. And I wish they got more love. I know here in Buffalo we also have the SS Columbia, which is kind of sitting tied up behind a grain elevator, and they're trying to preserve her, but I think the project stalled a little bit, unfortunately.
The
And
the bobble boats.
yeah, it's really like sad to see because I would love it. She's in decent shape. I would love to see her brought back to life. I think she's the oldest expedition steamboat in America, if
oh
I'm not
wow,
mistaken,
really?
is the Columbia. And here she is in Buffalo. Yeah, she's from 1902. And
Gorgeous.
she's here in Buffalo, and no, not getting much love. And it's like, come on, I've been emailing them, and I just want them to, like, give me some updates because I would love to see her brought back to her former glory for
Mm.
sure.
We've got a so Phantoms saved us in the chat. A few of the folks spoke up and got it right. It was the
Mhm.
SS Earnslaw that I was talking about. So I've got a picture up of it. In New Zealand,
Mhm.
it is. It's just so cute. It's like, you know what? It looks kind of like there's like little design elements that remind me of Nomadic, actually, weirdly. But if you guys look up Earnslaw, you'll see where it was sailing. It's surrounded by mountain tops. It's just like the
There we go.
location is just gorgeous itself. But yeah, the C&B we covered recently in a documentary because she was turned into USS Wolverine, the aircraft carrier. It's just such an interesting ship. Those Great Lakes, they're so unique looking. I mean, they've got that really
They are.
iconic kind of hull. They look so top heavy.
They do. It's true. It's some of them look a little like janky, for lack of a better word, but I mean, it's got so much character, and
Tons of character.
really just like I said, it's just something charming. It's cozy. It gives me the same vibe actually as Titanic's second class interiors, which is something that I've talked about before that I really, really love. That sort of cozy, homey vibe as opposed to the overly sumptuous, luxurious, at least when I'm talking about like C&B and those kind of ships.
Yeah.
It's just homey and cozy. I'm a little obsessed,
Yeah.
honestly.
Those ships are really, really incredible. I mean, the interiors as well. That's another thing. Just the amount of decor and just how beautiful they are on the inside. And again, what's interesting about these ships is when they were scrapped, a lot of these fittings went into homes along the Great Lakes and in the Michigan area.
hmm
So
hmm
I live in the Michigan area, and a lot of the homes by the Port Huron area, by the lakeside, they have all of these fittings from the C&B and their fleet mates. It's incredible. It really is.
Oh,
So cool.
it's amazing that there's just this little like subculture of ship history around the Great Lakes that I just love that we're a part of because obviously, there's a long way to the Atlantic Ocean from here, sadly. But we have our own little nook and cranny of ship history, and that's the Great Lakes steamers, and they're fascinating to me.
I can't wait to visit. I'm going to America in July. So we'll do something, I guess. I don't know. We were actually planning on going to Vegas still for your birthday, weren't we?
Vegas, baby. Vegas.
We'll go see, I gotta go see the
I
big
would love
pigs
to.
and lose all my
Yes,
money.
I want to revisit that like I said, there's that moment of just clarity, and I want to revisit it and see the big piece again. If Mike Brady's there, listen, I guess you can come too. It's fine.
Yeah.
If you're there, whatever. I'm there for the big piece.
Yeah. While we've been talking, I've got up some pictures from the upcoming Lusitania documentary that we're making. And boy, is this shot beautiful. This is now my desktop background, actually. This is the one, Jack, of Lusitania's bow with the sun kind of just bouncing off it. And it's actually just one of the most
That
beautiful,
yes.
is
beautiful
such a great
pictures.
shot. Look at her.
She's gorgeous.
She is gorgeous. Yeah. This is really exciting. So the idea, basically, for those unfamiliar with what we're going to be doing, we've got a video coming out on Lusitania that's going to cover her inception and her career. We've actually already really talked about why she exists and her reason for being and peculiarities of her design. So this will be focused more probably on her early career and kind of what she did, because the ship was a superstar. I mean, she was a household name before she was sunk. This is like the Queen Mary of her day, really, between this and Mauritania. So we'll be talking about the history of Lusitania leading up to the sinking. And so the goal for the documentary is actually to make Lusitania not so much. Half of it is about the life of the ship, and half of it is about the sinking, because it's not just the sinking that's interesting about this ship. So the visuals are stunning. I'll click through some of these. I just wanted to shout out Matthew Burns, who's been a long-time supporter of the channel. He says, congrats on 500k. Thank you, sir. Good to see you. Looking forward to catching up next week.
Thank you.
And Derek Vivier from Titanic, Honor and Glory, sends a few hand-waving emojis. So
I know
Derek,
that
I'd like
guy.
to say,
I know that guy.
hello back.
We
my
know
friend.
him.
How you doing? Yeah, so the visuals for the documentary are going to be stunning. We've got a really gorgeous looking model of the ship that has been a big collaborative effort. This is a model made by is this by Phyllis Lepard, is that right?
It is, yeah.
Brilliant. With then contributions
model.
from myself, Kyle Hudak, who's our buddy, Jelaus Statement. Has Liam given this a zhuzh as well, or is this just your modifications, Jack?
Oh, I think Liam, you might have put.
Yeah, I put a
something
little
on,
bit of
can't
I put some modifications onto it before. Yeah.
you've helped
A
with
little while back.
research on it as well, because there's parts of it I'm like, Liam, what does it look like? And you just know straight away. So you helped with research with it as well, and then I did a bit of extra work around the superstructure, just to make it shine a bit more.
Yeah.
Really, very shiny in that screenshot.
Well, this is exactly right, because the ship's hulls were painted in a semi-gloss black, not a matte black, so you would get that real like reflective look.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Someone said the lighting looks spectacular. Yeah, these are probably some
It
of the
does.
nicest digital recreations of Lusitania I've ever seen. We should make a Lusitania video game.
Yeah.
Just kidding. Just kidding.
Oh, that'd be interesting.
No, there's a team already doing that at HFX Studios. They're making a game called Lusitania: The Greyhound's Wake, which we're sure will be very good. But we're also very excited to give Lusitania our own little treatment this May. Again, just gorgeous, gorgeous visuals. And I don't know, when I think ocean liner, I see the silhouette of Mauritania and Lusitania. They're just so iconic. Gorgeous.
They're very
ships.
iconic. Yeah.
They
Gorgeous
described them
ships.
as yacht-like.
Yeah.
It's so beautiful.
hmm
I think
Yeah.
I feel like I would give the yacht honor to Olympic's design. There's something about Olympic that is just curvy and elegant and like perfectly balanced. For me, I think Lusitania and Mauritania, they're so aggressive. They look like, first of all, they're smaller than the Olympic class, but they've got bigger funnels, which already makes them kind of stand out, like somebody with big ears. But in a good way. But their bows are so chisel-like. They've got this straight stem. It looks like everything on the ship is leaning forward a little bit, like it's ready to go. You know, it just looks so aggressively fast.
Yeah.
It's and then the nighttime shots are beautiful. Yes, this is going to be a very exciting document. How did that get in there? It's the shot. It's I clicked on the picture of me from 2012 with the big hair.
Oh
amazing.
no, not the Afro picture.
It's amazing what a haircut can do. Anyway, I can't wait to see that used as a meme. And then here are some little previews.
Here we go.
Chat's gonna light up at that. I can't wait to see chat.
Oh yeah, you're in for it,
That's funny.
Mike.
Oh,
You really are.
incredible.
Yeah, we're really excited about this one. This is going to be great. And then what we're going to do is a live stream with Jack and Liam to talk about the sequence of events and Liam, honestly, you know, you have such a depth of someone's got a jump scare. That's funny. Has such a depth of knowledge on the Lusitania that I'm really looking forward to seeing what you can tell us about her during the real-time syncing live stream that we're going to be doing, because this kind of sequence of events for Lusitania is going to be a documentary, which is that hour and a half documentary that we're planning, and a real-time syncing that Jack's working on right now, which is very exciting.
Yeah, for sure. It's going to be really, really exciting stuff.
And then what we'll do is a live stream where we essentially just commemorate the syncing and narrate events as they're happening, I guess is probably the best way to describe it.
Yeah.
it just happens so quickly.
Yeah, yeah. Lusitania is one of those ships where it just went down so quickly that it's almost impossible to describe and commentate on everything that's happening at once. I mean, all the lifeboats just tumbling off the ship and whatnot. It was just so quick.
Yeah. We've also made some pretty horrifying, I don't know if they're discoveries, but I feel like these will be the first time a few things will be depicted in a retelling. You know, there's some things I didn't even know happened.
Yeah.
That I was shocked when Jack, by virtue of playing with the model, I think, said, well, if this happened here, then that means that according to where the ship's at with this list at this time, then this must have happened. And I think we were all a bit shocked about it. But
There's
people
so
will,
much
learn about that in the documentary
in the documentary.
in 3 weeks' time. There's another thing I have to announce, actually. I don't know if you guys know this channel, Brick and Mortar. This is a cracking channel. I've been watching this for a couple of years now. This is one of my favorite channels on YouTube by far. And if you need to lose like an afternoon, just go and binge watch Sam's videos. So Sam at Brick and Mortar is just an absolutely lovely bloke and extremely talented. And his whole field of expertise and knowledge is maritime safety and systems and things like that. And so he's got this channel which originally focused on engineering failures, so bridge collapses, the mall collapses, that kind of thing. And then with time, he has kind of transitioned into more of like a maritime bend, and he just got a video out about the Alaska Ranger, which was a factory troll ship that was lost, and just the sequence of events and what happened is fascinating. And we're collaborating, and it's not just like we're going to do animations and give them to him in collaboration. We're actually doing a really, really in-depth and exciting 2-part series together on a maritime disaster. And we're actually doing a video each that will be part of that series is kind of the plan. So I'll keep you guys posted on that. But we've got that planned for the end of May. And I feel like you guys are really, really going to like it because he gives... I feel like where we specialize in telling the story of ships is like their background and the actual experience of what it was like to be on it, and then when they sink, that experience, and usually the aftermath is kind of like an afterthought. We just touch on it, you know what I mean? Whereas Sam is forensic in his takedown of why things happened when they did, how it came about. It's just absolutely brilliant stuff. And during June last year in the Titan submersible disaster, he's not a reaction channel. He does not make videos in reaction to events. But he had a video up about USS Thresher, which was the submarine that imploded. That went viral. And he's got multiple bridge collapse videos up as well. So the Tasman Bridge collapse in Australia, the Sunshine Skyway, the Forth Bridge, the Tay Rail Bridge. And so a few of those were caused by ships colliding with piers on bridges. So of course... a couple of weeks ago, again, Sam's channel exploded. So if you haven't subscribed yet, please head over to Brick and Mortar and give them a watch because they are just brilliant watching. I don't watch a lot of YouTube, but that's absolutely one of my favorites. So there you go. That was not... I actually should have spoken about that earlier. That was unplanned, but yeah, I'm excited to work with him. I think it'll be something a little different for our channel, you know.
It's very exciting.
Yeah, absolutely.
Well, we're coming up on close to 2 hours. I know Liam's got to go. In the background, I'm going to put on the first Ocean Liner Designs video, like the first actual Ocean Liner.
Fetus Ocean Liner Designs. Let's go.
The OG. It was a much simpler time. So we wanted to kind of do this more regularly. Hey, this is fun.
Yeah, this
really
is
Yeah.
fun.
Yeah, I'm into it.
I'm sorry
Good
for
hangout
the confusion with the tech issues. I just feel like I've just been a bit frazzled this stream because I just could not get my things working. I knew everyone was waiting up on us, so I'm sorry. You guys were caught in the crossfire on that one.
Yeah, it's all good.
Yeah, of course. It's totally all right.
It happens.
There is one other group that we have to thank, and that is, of course, the audience. I mean, are you guys?
Yes,
Do you guys read the
absolutely.
comments we get on our videos?
Oh, all the time.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah, I do.
Are you not just blown away? I'm just. It's hard. It's so hard because you can't. You react to them and you love heart them and you try and respond, but I'm just always overwhelmed by how enthusiastic and lovely people are. I mean, all of you guys. We've had 600,
Yeah.
700
Yeah.
viewers this entire stream, and they're all of you guys are just sending so many lovely comments and things through. It's just
The support is
It's
beautiful.
it's like overwhelming because, you know, a lot of YouTubers talk about like, oh, you know, I have to be really strong against all the negative feedback, but like we don't see like any almost like, you know, you're going through comments and sometimes people might like correct you or say, you know, hey, you were wrong in this factor, what have you. But for the most part, we have an incredibly supportive community. And that is so rare. And it's so awesome to, you know, I'll be biting my nails like, oh God, like, you know, what if this thing I wrote just totally it just it is a total fail. And then I look at the comments and it's just nothing but support. It's the best. You guys are the best, seriously.
Yeah.
It's so nice.
It's so sweet.
Hmm.
And as well, I mean, you know, going from like fans of the channel to working on the channel, you know, for me, it's like
Yeah.
I don't even know how to describe it. I mean, it's like a fun hobby that just went out of control, and now it's my job. But I think the best thing that's come out of it is for sure getting to work with you guys and having you along to, you know, for the journey, and honestly, having teammates totally changes the dynamic. There is a reason why, I said this the other day in our team call, there's a reason why a year ago, the channel was in the 100 something, maybe 150,000 subscriber mark, 180 potentially. And we've just like rocketed forward. It's because the work, you know, Jack's been doing, Liam's been doing, Sarah's been doing, and other folks behind the background. We've got a whole other team, by the way, that you guys have never met who work on midweek videos. We get 2 videos out a week.
Mhm.
And some of those videos in the midweek around Wednesday and Thursday are made by a team at WTFN Entertainment in Melbourne here. There's a studio that I work with. And so there's some great folks over there like Esme and Louisa, who and Tom, who has recently joined, who you guys have probably never heard of, who also help keep the lights on and keep the channel going and edit some of these videos. And it's actually a really big effort. So folks, it's really not just me. I'm just the pretty face. I still do about 90% of my own editing, to be honest. I still edit a video every week. I'm still a control freak.
I mean, it's hard not to be. You want it to be perfect, but you know, at the end of the day, it's like, you know, I think it shows through. I think everyone's efforts really show through. Like, so obviously, I'm reading the chat right now, by the way, and like just the outpouring right now that I'm seeing, it's lovely.
Yeah.
We have such a great community. This is so awesome.
We
Yeah.
do. It's a great motivation for us when you're working and you just see comments flow by, and it's like, oh, you want to go make more videos when you see comments from people. It's like, oh, I want to make more of this. Like,
No, I want to go give these people a hug, is what I wanted to do. I wish I could just like just group hugs all around. This is awesome.
It is
it's a
awesome.
beautiful community.
There's nothing I can say that's not going to sound hackney and cliched when I say, like, I never expected it to get this big. I didn't. I genuinely, the reason this channel exists in the first place is because I was drawing ships and trying to use that as a way to kind of get people across the drawings. But I'd seen a lot of videos on YouTube where I just thought that is so incorrect about the Titanic and Lusitania and other ships. And I just thought, all right, well, I'll you know, I'll give my own go at correcting certain issues and things. And there are other channels that were doing it really well. And I thought, oh, I want to emulate that. And so I knew it was an area that people would be interested in. So I designed the content, designed the channel to be successful. So this isn't a mistake. This isn't just like I didn't know people were interested in the Titanic. Of course they are. But yeah. I never would could never have dreamt that it would get to this stage. I mean, I can't look. What can I say? I even said that in the community post. I said, you know, well, what can I even say? You know, it's just without sounding hackney. It's really, really, it's amazing. You can't even get your mind around the scale of it. I mean, I think it was someone just commented. I think it was Andy who said, "Do you think of yourself as a mini celebrity to 500,000 people. But the other day, like on the train from Nottingham to London, there's a really lovely guy was like, "Oh, hey, I love your videos," and actually, as I walked past, it was like, "Are you Mike Brady?" And I was like, "Wait, well, yes, I am." And then on Aurora, I had people coming up, and people love the channel, and even when I have my sunglasses on and I've got a Hawaiian shirt, they still click. They're like, "I think that's that tall Australian guy."
I think that's the Ocean Man.
Ocean Man just cracks me up. So yeah, it's been a pretty wild ride, but we just wanted to thank all of you guys and say you're the reason we do it. Again, not to sound cliched, but it's true. We're creatives. We thrive off of. I make no secret of it. We thrive off of the attention. We thrive off of the feedback, good and bad. I think that's how I get fired up.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely.
It's just great having this
100%.
outlet, and honestly, thanks to YouTube as well. I mean, without it, I mean, it just gives anybody, for better or worse, a soapbox to stand up on and make videos.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
It's a great platform. I mean, people are watching us instead of watching something on Netflix or something on like that, and it's humbling. It's amazing. So yeah, thanks YouTube for just being there, being a platform.
Yeah, it's interesting, on to that point, like the way that people watch things. Like I watch a lot of YouTube now for entertainment instead of streaming, because honestly, the content, like again, like channels like Brick and Mortar. There's another one weirdly that I really like. If you guys are interested in cars, as a random one, Ed's Auto Reviews. This guy's great. Really, really enjoy his content. Super, super interesting. Really funny as well. About classic cars. Whenever I get, for some reason, it's like what I turn on whenever I'm sick, and I get sick a lot. So I watch a lot of Ed's Auto Reviews. Really enjoy it. But it just, it gives people like us the opportunity to just do like these fascinating little side projects that we do for fun. I wanted to thank Cal Harvey for dropping $50. I know, again, I'm sorry because super chats are off, and you would have left a very nice message, but you already messaged me on Patreon. Cal's been another long-time supporter of the channel. He's also been very, very good enough to send me some really nice things over the years and months. So thank you very much, mate. Good to see you. I also got a beautiful gift in the mail. You guys can see just here. I'll show it off next time. But somebody sent through a viewer of the channel a like commemorative plaque with a piece of the Aral gantry, the crane structure used to build Titanic and Olympic.
Oh,
and
wow.
Just sent me it. It's beautifully mounted and presented, and I'll show that off next live stream. So I wanted to say thanks a lot for that one as well. If you're watching this, Al, appreciate you. 2 hours. I haven't even covered like half the things I wanted to talk about. Gee.
We're gonna have to do this more often.
We will, yeah. Why don't we? I mean, we'll talk about it, but I would like to do these more often. These are a lot of fun. I really enjoy catching up with you guys and looking at the
Brady
what
Bunch.
the audience has to say. No, the Unsinkables, the Unsinkables.
That's right. You go. Okay, I stand corrected. The Unsinkables.
The 1960s like pop group Mike Brady and the Unsinkables.
I love it. We're going with that one.
Well, look, I'm going to sign off, but before I go, I'm just going to throw over to Liam. Was there any final word? Is there anything you're working on you wanted to shout out real quick? Anything you wanted to say before we sign off?
Just wanted to say that I joined just over a year ago, and it's been an absolute honor to be a part of this journey. I mean, it's unbelievable. It's been over a year, but it doesn't feel like it.
No, it
because
doesn't.
it's just been so much fun. It really has been so much fun. So it's just been an incredible journey, and thank you guys for being there. Thank you guys for the support, and it's only gonna go up from here.
Yeah.
we got new projects coming out
Yeah.
soon.
Yeah.
Good stuff on the horizon.
No, thanks for everything, mate. Jack, was there anything else you wanted to shout out before we head off?
Oh, it would be the same as Liam. It's just I have to thank everyone in the audience. I have to thank you, Sarah, you, Liam, and especially you, Mike. I mean, a year ago again, I also joined around the same time as Liam, and I was going to go to university, and now I get to do this instead, and it is a lot funner. It is. This is. I don't like calling it a job. It technically is, but I don't like calling it because it doesn't
For the
feel like a
record,
job.
my advice is still to go to university. We've talked about this.
Okay, but this is funner. Okay.
We'll talk. We'll talk. But yes, education is good,
Ah,
folks.
So is this. Oh no, it's been absolutely incredible. And I can't wait for it to go on because this is just. There's so much more coming. It's only been a year. There's so much more we're going to be doing. I can't wait.
Every time I'm feeling like a little flat or burnt out or anything, I go back and I watch the first ocean liner tech video we did, the rise of the ocean liner. That was the first video we all worked together on, and it is by far, I think, if anyone were to say, what is your channel about, if I were to die tomorrow, touch wood, this is what I would want to put up as, like, this is what the channel's actually about. It's so uplifting and upbeat and happy. And one of my favorite memories of this channel is the day we premiered this and we had the chat going, and I was so excited. I actually screen recorded the chat because I wanted to play it back, because I knew that for the first time on the channel, people were going to be seeing Jack's animations, and this is them. I'm playing them in the background, and they were so beautiful, and it was such a fun video and such a happy video that I was really excited to do it. And I think it still sums up our working relationship. It's just been so positive, and so productive. And yeah, I didn't want to turn this into like the Mutual Admiration Society, but here we are. So thank you. Thanks for everything. And Sarah, of course, was there anything else you wanted to chip in with before we sign off?
It's kind of, same thing. I mean, with me personally, not to get too personal really quick, but finding this channel and becoming a part of it, becoming a part of this team, it's done so much. I was actually in a very, very, very bad place when I came to this channel. I was dealing with the loss of my mother, actually, and Titanic was one thing that we shared. And being able to take part in this and being able to tell these stories has really not only gotten me through it, it's given me so much healing in that amount of time. This team, this audience, these stories, it has been such an inspiration for me. So seeing it at 500,000 and knowing that it's going to keep growing from there, and knowing how much more we have in store for everyone, I'm having the time of my life, and this is amazing. And I don't know where I'd be if it wasn't for Ocean Liner Designs. So thank you guys. Thank you, Mike. Thank you, Jack, Liam, all of you guys. You're the best. Seriously.
Oh, yeah, I'd point out real quick. A lot of people asked when we put out Ocean Liner Tech 2, there was a little dedication at the end of the video, and people said, "Who is that?" And yeah, that was the first video, I think, or the first big video you and I had worked together on. And yeah, it was around about the time that you lost your mum, and we dedicated it to her.
Yes, thank you for that, by the way. That meant so much to me. So yeah, it's been a long journey, but I'm so glad to be here, honestly. So
no,
yeah.
It's been a very exciting couple of weeks, guys. Very exciting couple of months, and well done. Now get back to work.
Yes. Mark. First right, all right? Let's go.
Back in the boiler rooms, everyone.
Well, thank you everybody for joining us today on Ocean Liner Designs Live. This has been, I just sounded like a radio disc jockey. Yeah. This is 99.3 FM KMFCW. Good morning, San Diego. Love you guys a lot. Thanks for joining me. Thanks everybody. We had about 600 viewers. You guys are all super, super awesome. Great to see you all. Have a fantastic weekend. Get out, do something nice for yourself. If you want to celebrate 500,000 subscribers, I already drank my coffee before the call. Go out, have a coffee, have a champagne, have any kind of thing that you'd like to celebrate, and have a great time, most importantly of all. Thank you for joining. Ladies and gentlemen, this has been your friend Mike Brady and your friends Liam, Jack, and Sarah. We'll see you again next time. Bye-bye.
Goodbye, everybody.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.